What if I told you that a common medication, maybe one sitting in your medicine cabinet right now, could be silently harming your brain? It's something millions of people over 60 take every single day. Today, we're diving deep into some really compelling research about these everyday drugs and the hidden impact they might be having on our minds. You've probably seen this story play out. Someone, maybe a parent or a grandparent, who's been sharp their whole life, starts to get a little fuzzy. They're forgetting words, they seem confused, and the family just kind of shrugs and says, well, they're just getting older. But what if it's not that simple? What if the very pills they're taking to stay healthy are actually causing the confusion? And this is exactly why we have to talk about this. Some studies show that certain very common medications can increase the risk of dementia by a staggering 54%. Let that sink in. This isn't just about having a few senior moments. We're talking about a serious risk of cognitive decline that might just be preventable. So here's how we're going to break it all down today. First, we'll get a sense of this hidden epidemic. Then, we're going to look at 3 specific ways these drugs can mess with your brain by disrupting its signals, literally starving it of key nutrients, and creating a total overload effect. And please, stick around for the end because we're going to wrap up with a practical, actionable brain protection plan. To really get what's going on, I want you to think of your brain as this incredible, complex symphony orchestra, right? Every neuron is a musician, and they're all playing in perfect harmony. But what happens when some disruptive conductor, in this case, a common medication, jumps onto the podium and just starts creating chaos? That's what's happening, silently, to millions of people. Okay, so the first way these rogue conductors wreak havoc is by messing with the orchestra's communication. They basically get in there and start cutting the lines between the musicians. We're talking about meds that directly block or interfere with the essential chemical messengers your brain cells need to talk to each other. First up, a big one, benzodiazepines. The names probably sound familiar: lorazepam, diazepam, alprazolam. They're handed out all the time for things like anxiety and insomnia. And on the surface, they seem like a perfect quick fix for our stressed out lives. So, how do they actually work? Well, think of your brain as having a gas pedal and a brake pedal. Benzodiazepines basically slam on the brakes for you. They boost a chemical called GABA, which calms everything down. But if you keep your foot on that brake for months or years, your brain kind of forgets how to brake on its own. It becomes dependent. And the data here is, well, it's alarming. Take these drugs for more than 3 months, and you're looking at a 51% increased risk for dementia. More than 6 months? That risk shoots up to a massive 84%. You're essentially trading short-term calm for your long-term mental clarity. Now, this next group of signal disruptors is even more common and way sneakier: anticholinergics. And this is the crazy part. They are everywhere. We're talking over-the-counter allergy pills, sleep aids, certain cold medicines, even drugs for bladder control. So here's the problem in a nutshell. These drugs block a chemical messenger called acetylcholine. You can think of acetylcholine as the premium high-octane fuel for your brain's memory and learning centers. Taking these meds is like having someone secretly siphoning that fuel out of your tank, day after day. Eventually, the engine just starts to sputter and fail. All right, it's not always about blocking signals directly. The second major problem is, for lack of a better word, starvation. This is when a medication messes with your body's ability to absorb the essential nutrients your brain absolutely needs to function, repair itself, and just, well, survive. Which brings us to proton pump inhibitors, or PPIs. You definitely know these. They're the super common meds for acid reflux and heartburn. Think omeprazole, pantoprazole. Millions of people take them for years, and why wouldn't they? You think, it's just for my stomach. What harm could it possibly do to my brain? Well, as it turns out, a lot. By reducing stomach acid, PPIs also block your body from absorbing key nutrients, especially vitamin B12. And B12 is absolutely crucial. It helps maintain the protective coating around your nerves. Think of it like the plastic insulation on an electrical wire. Without it, your brain's wiring starts to fray. You get signal leaks, short circuits, the whole system just starts to go haywire. And the long-term risk is real. Studies have found that people who take PPIs for more than 4 years have a 28% higher risk of developing dementia. It's a slow, quiet damage that just builds and builds with every pill you take. Okay, next up, we have statins. These are some of the most widely prescribed drugs on the entire planet. Millions and millions of people take medications like atorvastatin and simvastatin to lower their cholesterol and protect their hearts. But this is where we hit a really fascinating paradox. Your brain is about 60% fat, and it desperately needs cholesterol to build new cells and repair damage. Now, statins do a great job of lowering cholesterol, but they do it everywhere, and they can cross into the brain. On top of that, they also drain your body of a molecule called coenzyme Q10, which is basically the battery pack for your cells. So while you're trying to protect your heart, you might be accidentally robbing your brain of its essential building blocks and its energy source. So for our last category, we're going to talk about the overload effect. This is what happens when the brain's incredibly delicate chemical balance gets thrown completely out of whack. And here, we've got a tough medical trade-off and a very surprising substance that many of us use every single day. This one is a genuinely difficult choice. Calcium channel blockers are absolute lifesavers. They control high blood pressure and are critical in preventing strokes. That's the pro. The con? Well, the very thing that makes them work can also hinder your brain. See, your brain cells also need those calcium channels to form new memories. So when you block them, you can interfere with learning and memory. It's a really tough balancing act. Okay, but this final substance we need to talk about is a little different. It's not something you get with a prescription. It's so ingrained in our culture, it's almost invisible. And there is a very, very good chance you've already had some today. Yep, it's caffeine. Now, hold on before you panic and throw out your coffee maker. The key phrase here is when consumed in excess. A morning cup of coffee isn't the problem. The issue is chronic, high-dose use that disrupts your sleep. It works by tricking your brain into feeling awake, which can prevent you from getting into that deep, restorative sleep, the kind your brain needs to clear out toxins and lock in memories. Okay, I know that was a lot of pretty concerning information, but the goal here is not to scare you, it's to empower you. So now we're going to shift to the most important part of this whole discussion, what you can actually do about it. Let's talk about your brain protection plan. First, and I really cannot say this loudly or clearly enough, do not, under any circumstances, just stop taking a prescribed medication. Seriously, stopping abruptly can be incredibly dangerous and have severe consequences. Your safety is priority number one, period. So what's the smart, safe way to move forward? It's a pretty simple process. Step one, and this is always step one, talk to your doctor. Go in armed with this information and share your concerns. Step two, if you both agree a change is needed, discuss a slow, gradual plan to reduce the dose. Step three, ask about safer alternatives. There might be another option that doesn't carry the same cognitive risks. And finally, step four, explore the non-drug therapies. Lifestyle changes, diet, exercise. These can be incredibly powerful tools. At the end of the day, it all comes down to this. You get one brain. It holds everything that makes you, your memories, your personality, your future. Every choice you make about what you put into your body is a choice you're making for your future self. Now that you have this information, you can be a better advocate for your own health. You can ask the right questions and hopefully make the best choices to protect that amazing brain of yours for a long, long time to come.